Hi friends! Hello and good evening. It's evening where I'm at in Oklahoma. In fact, 5:30, we're going back to our Tuesday Toots. I know I've been away for a little bit of time. I was trying to get myself organized, trying to get some relaxation time in, get so much stuff planned. I've got an insane amount of stuff planned, in fact, and the list just keeps growing. I just, in fact, had a few emails come up today or this week actually, including yesterday, for some newer activities that's happening. So stuff's just coming up out of nowhere, and I'm taking up every opportunity that I can to help promote Silver Silk and to do some crafting with my friends out in the industry. Hey Dawn, I think I just dropped off your package in the mail today. In fact, some of you. I have quite a few of you have been ordering like crazy from the site, which I greatly appreciate, and I appreciate your patience. But as many of you know, that I also have a daytime job, and so that sort of takes away from me solely focusing on Silver Silk. But I am working hard behind the scenes. In fact, I'm going to stay up late tonight to get a lot of those orders processed. So we're going to play catch up here behind the scenes, but things are getting done. So I promise you. All things are looking really well. So, hi, Julia. I see Barbara chimed in too. Hi, Donna. It's good to hear from you. Tamara is here as well. Howdy to you. Sylvia, welcome. I see Teresa and Gretchen are back in the house. So lovely to have you ladies. And thank you, Teresa, for getting us started with the year. She's our brand ambassador for Silver Silk, Teresa and Gretchen, her daughter. And Teresa works really hard behind the scenes to make sure that all of your guys' questions are answered, that everything is sort of, just being communicated and letting me know if someone's got any pending questions, that I can get it directly to me, or I can go directly to me and that I can answer it. So she's what I say, a little lady that has a big responsibility and role. And we love you. Hi, Sandy from Milwaukee. Tina, it's good to see you. Thank you. My friend actually knitted this with some yarn that Teresa sent me, in fact, because Teresa, I think you could recognize this color, mustard. She sent me a bunch of yarn because she knows I like to crochet behind the scenes and on my free time. So, but my friend also likes to knit. My door just magically opened. So, what's going on tonight? Quite a few things, in fact. Tonight we've got a very great tutorial for some Holo mesh, and I was, I guess, organized enough to get myself together a project and to make sure I promote it correctly and to get you guys a materials list. So, I spoiled you with that this time, but, can't spoil you all the time. I will try my best to keep up with a materials list for each of the projects that I intend on doing. I'm going to be working a lot with Holo mesh here, I think earlier this early part of this year at least. Hey, Stephanie, I believe your order just went out the window too. Went out the door and into the post. So, hi, Vicky. So a Holo mesh is going to have more content created. I'm going to create more content, create more projects, more designs with it, so that it is an important line to Silver Silk. It is something that I enjoy using. I just haven't done very much of it, and it's because I wanted to get us sort of kick-started with Capture Chain. And now that we've got so many different types of projects that we can do with Capture Chain, it's time to focus now on Holo mesh. And especially the two different styles that I carry, which is the Pearlesque Holo mesh and then just the regular one. I'm actually working on more colors for the Holo mesh. I'm just trying to figure out how the best way to go about implementing that will be. But right now it just comes in 5 colors for the main body of what Holo mesh is. But the Pearlesque chains come in all the colors. So I know there is a difference whenever you do mix the tinsel with the color. It does change it a little bit. So having some plain colors that'll match with other types of cords and leather will be good to have, I think. So that's around the corner, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. And then I've got a couple events coming up. One big thing that I just launched was my kit for this month, which was the Northern Lights is finally out, and I'm finally shipping them. I was waiting on some beads to come in. They finally came in. I sorted them out, and then out the door they go. So I got those finally dispersed, and that class will be on February 16th. That'll be a Tuesday toot. So if you order now, there's a pretty good chance that you will get it by that time frame. And the other part of that is that I guess it'll be an unveil of what the kit is, and then a make-along is what I call it. So I'll open up the kit, and I've got 2 projects planned. If you do purchase a kit, which right now they're 80% sold out, which I didn't even do that much promotion for, but I'm telling you, they're just being swiped right and left, and very excitable customers they are. So once you do make a purchase, though, you get an email that's automatically sent to you, and that has a full materials list of each of the projects, plus a tool list that you'll need for February 16th. I just thought that was a good way to communicate what's happening with this kit, what we're gonna do with it, and just give you guys a clearer picture for the purpose of the kit too. So it'll be more strategic moving forward. And I love the color scheme on this one. It's very rainbow and sparkly, and I just thought that was a good way to kick off the year. The other thing that I've got coming up is an event with the Great Bead Extravaganza. If you guys are not familiar with what the Great Bead Extravaganza is, it's a group of myself and 15 other companies that are both large and artisans have gathered together. These are all companies that you may be familiar with, and if you're not, you definitely need to check us out in the Facebook group called the Great Bead Extravaganza. And we're putting on a show February 5th through the 7th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I will be on, my time slot is February 6th at 4:15 Central Time, or 5:15 Eastern Time. And I have a project planned that looks like this. Based on the fact that lots of folks still don't know about silver silk, believe it or not, I am teaching something kind of simple-ish. We're gonna learn how to drape with different colors of silver silk. And I've got these beautiful end caps that we're gonna be using. And I'm gonna teach you guys how to make this cool little wire wrap pendant, sort of a messy wire wrap pendant, if you will. It gives a pendant a little bit more oomph, a frame, a bit of body, something extra, you know? But the great thing about this project is that it's very open-ended. I am not including the bead with the kit. The kit is currently on sale. You can find this at silversilkonline.com. And the kit includes everything you see here except for the bead, because it's a bring your own bead event. The reason that I didn't want to include a bead is that I want to support the companies that are participating with this event. So I'm encouraging you guys to grab this kit and then to purchase something, a bead or something special that you want to wire wrap from one of the other participating companies. It's just a good way to spread some business, to spread some good vibes, and you guys should buy something that you love and want to wire wrap. My taste isn't always the same as yours, but the silver silk luckily comes in all the colors, and I love this particular colorway just because it transfers well to spring all the way through the end of the year, through fall. So it'll be a good way to customize this project for you guys. And it does come with the sparkly end caps, as you guys saw, because these are the last of what I have left, these little sparkly end caps. Otherwise, they've been pretty much discontinued. So this is the only way to grab those. Okay. Sarah, I didn't see that you're on. Thank you. My cowl is quite cozy, and I enjoy wearing it. Oh, Emily. Emily is asking, what size bead have I used in this design? I saw your email earlier, Emily, and I'm going to answer it now on video. And this is roughly about a 20 to 30 millimeter size bead in length. Width-wise, it's probably about 15, give or take, 10 to 15. So it's a longer bead, but you can certainly use something up to, I would recommend 30 millimeters. That to me says that's going to be about this big in scale, and it's going to be easy to wire wrap without the wire, I guess, shifting too much on your design. And I hope that answers your question. The email that you get after making this purchase for the kit, because I've set up another automation email, gives you a materials list and tool list for this project. So it is very directed toward people purchasing, but in that email, you do get the size of the bead that I've used in the sample. So in other words, yeah, I would say 20 to 30 millimeter size bead is going to be your best. It's going to be your best size to use for this project. Okay, I think that's all I have for announcements, and we're going to go and get to today's project because that's what everyone's here for, you know? Alrighty, I'm going to focus my camera around, get all my materials set up, get my tools out. I hope y'all are feeling good tonight. I'm feeling lively, creative. I'm happy to get back to my Tuesday tutorials, which happen every Tuesday at 5:30 in the evening, Central Time. So set y'all's calendars because we're just gonna do it for the rest of the year. Okay, so some tools that I have that I want to talk about is first, I mentioned a chopstick in my post. This is probably the easiest thing to find if you all love some Chinese takeout. Ask for some chopsticks and make sure that they're round like this one. The reason is that I found that this is way better. It's just a little bit thicker than a skewer that I think I recommended earlier on. And you just want it like thick enough. This is probably about 4 millimeters in diameter. Let me pan back here at the very end of this chopstick. So that's something to look for whenever you're out grabbing some of these is roughly 4 to 5 millimeter for a size chopstick will be perfect. But that's going to be great for resizing this hollow mesh to make it easier to fill in with beads. And it's the most cheap way to do it, I will say that. And you get to enjoy some Chinese takeout, so it's a win-win, right? You'll need a pair of chain nose pliers. I have these as my Weber's standard, I feel like, my round nose pliers as well. And I also have a pair of cutters. This is just for cutting the craft wire. And a pair of nylon jaw pliers for straightening my wire. I'm not using end caps tonight. And then I also mentioned that I have the hollow mesh in... this is sort of a scrap piece that I have, to be honest. We'll only be using roughly about 2 to 3 inches of this. Not very much. So a little bit's going to go a long ways. So you'll need that. I saw several of you guys pick it up from the shop earlier a week ago, so hopefully those deliveries are getting to you pretty accurately, and at least, if not today, then maybe a couple days from now so you can actually try this. You will need a couple earring wires, which I used one in the sample down here, and then I just have a couple of decorative beads. Now, you can find these beads pretty much anywhere. I know that I had sourced goodybeads.com for some miracle beads. I'm not sure if they're restocked on the gray color. I like the gray against this copper color personally, but copper is one of those colors that also matches with a lot of other great colors. Turquoise, I think, would be a really good fit for this. I forget what else they had on their website. I think they had a lovely, like, darker pink that I think would look really nice if you're into pinks. So I would check them out if you have a chance and just see if you can grab some 4 millimeter miracle beads, is what they're called. They have like this really unusual shimmer to them, almost glowy in any kind of light, whether it be a harsh fluorescent light or if it's the softer warm light. It's just a really unusual glow, and they really just pop right through the hollow mesh. And I wish you could see this in real life, but, you know, the camera will have to do. Hi, Becky. Hi, Sarah Ayler. Thanks for joining in. And then you'll need about a 10 millimeter bead. I'm using a longer bead. So this one's 10 millimeter by about roughly 6 in width. And then just another 4 to 5 millimeter bead. And this will just be used to embellish the top. But you can really use anything that's going to be a 10 millimeter or under for whatever you wanted to include down here. You could even use 2, maybe 3 bicones that are 4mm down here. You could use 2 size 4mm beads side by side if you wanted to. So that gives you kind of a scale and comparison. Hi, Marianne. Excuse me. I was about to call you MA, and then I feel like I should say your name first and then your nickname for what I call you, so people here understand. He said 4mm for inside the hollow mesh, says Emily. Yes. Yeah, these are 4mm size beads. So 3 to 4mm is going to be a really good size to work with. Otherwise, I have some 24 gauge wire from Softflex. This is a copper craft wire. And what's great about this particular type of wire that they carry is that it's coated with a tarnish resisting coat. I call it magic. That really prevents it from turning colors. And this is the same type of wire that's also used to knit my wire. So you get tarnish resisting coating all around. And then you've also got this 20 gauge wire. This will be used for the main frame of our earring, plus this little embellishment at the top. So hopefully that gives you an insight on all the materials that I'm using. And so we're just going to go and dive into our tutorial. I'm going to go and start by straightening out my pieces of wire here. So I'm going to grab my nylon jaw pliers and I'm going to grab my chain nose. I'm going to hold one end and just straighten it right out. And I'm using a 1 foot length per earring. You really probably don't need that much, but I always err on the longer side. Just in case, it's always good to have a little extra rather than trying to, make a misshaped loop at the end just because you've run out of wire. I'm going to go and straighten out both pieces of wire and just get those ready. All right, let me put those to the side. Let me go ahead and take this out. I'm going to put my earring up here. Hi, Joan. She said, girl, you lost track of time. You know I'm on my Tuesdays. I'm returning back to my Tuesdays. I was out for a little bit, so I guess I can't give you too hard a time. I wonder if Ginger will join us. If not, you should ping her. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Debbie. Rosanna, it's good to see you. I love it when my friends' names just pop in. All right. Now, if I remember correctly, the first thing that I did was I went through and made my hollow mesh bigger. So to do this, I just take my little chopstick and then I just gently kind of push this down through. There's really not much to it. It kind of just glides itself through and it widens as you push it down through the chopstick. Very easily. You can even do this to hollow mesh that's flattened a little bit and it'll push it right back out into shape. So you just kind of caterpillar it from one end to the other. When you get to this side, just pull it out gently so that you won't squish the wire by accident. There you go. Do you see how much bigger my hollow mesh is in comparison to where it was before? It did shrink, but only because the wire is taking up more wire because of how much I've widened it. And then what I'm going to do, I think what I did was I strung my beads on. But let me go ahead and cut off a little bit to make this component. So I'm going to cut off roughly about 3 inches. Maybe even half. We'll keep it a conservative 3 to 4 inches. And then what I can do is with the remaining wire, go ahead and string on my beads. Some of this is just remembering how I did it. Because I made this project a while ago, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a toot about this. And so I stockpiled some tutorials, but then I realized I had made them a long time ago. And so I know I made one look really nice and put together, but it's a little bit of a memory challenge of how did I get there and how do I explain this easily? but not to worry. We're gonna make this one way or the other. I think what I also could do is go ahead and make my loop at one end. That way my beads don't slide out. So let me grab my round nose pliers. And I am just going to make a nice little simple loop at one end, just like that. Okay, this way my beads won't slip through whenever I push my cord or my hollow mesh here through it. So I'm just gonna string this on. I really don't need all of it. I could probably just cut this in half, to be honest. That way I think I can slide it out easier, or slide it over it easier. And I'll probably save the other half for a future airing. There we go. Okay, and you see how just easily it slides right over my bead. It looks like I'll need to trim off a little extra, but that's okay. That's an easy thing for me to do. And what I want to do is just get a little bit to come out from here at the top, because that's the part that's going to be wrapped in wire. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of press it down, just get it a little bit, I don't know, a kind of a pocket right over the bead there. And then on this other side, I kind of want this hollow mesh to stretch just a little bit, because it allows my beads to look, it allows the bead to be shown off a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is just grab another piece of wire and use it to push against my bead. Just a little bit. And I'm going to push backwards on it. So this will help to push out some extra wire that I don't need to use up. Hopefully that makes sense. Although it can be a little challenging to kind of keep it all in place as I'm pushing against it. There we go. Perfect. So what I'll do, same thing here. I'm just going to press my hollow mesh up against that bead. Just get it. Kind of looks like a little, I don't know, like a bean sprout or something. Little snow peas or something. I don't know. My imagination runs kind of wild sometimes. But you guys get the idea. And if you want to, you can go ahead and press it into the shape, which is a U shape. And you can kind of see our component is starting to come together, just like that. So now what's left is to make my little simple loop on this side. I'm going to trim off actually, or no, maybe I don't need to. Well, I kind of waffle back and forth. I think I could trim a little bit of that off. It seems a little excessive. Okay, there we go. And yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim this side about a 1/2 inch up from the last bead, and we're just going to make our simple loop on this end. And that creates the first part of our component. Let me just straighten this around. Perfecto. Okay, so now what I can do is go ahead and start to create my little wire wraps. So what I'm going to do is I will need approximately about 6 inches per each side. So what I've done is just cut this into thirds. So I had a total of 18 inches, and I'm just going to create 6-inch lengths. And what I'm going to do is sew through the hollow mesh, anchor one side with my finger, and then just do a little messy wrap. It creates a little cone, as you can see. I'm going to use up all of the wire on both ends. And all I have to do now is just trim it, or I'm actually not going to trim it, excuse me. I'm just going to tuck it into my wire wrapped loop there, or as best as you can. It seems to be staying pretty stable, but let's just pinch it in a little bit. And then same thing with the other anchored end that I had. Whoops. I'm going to just pinch it in with my pliers. And you see how that just covers up that raw edge so nicely? I'm going to do that to this side too. Okay, I'll sew right through the hollow mesh. Now you could actually kind of pinch this down a little bit, get yourself some extra hollow mesh here to work with, just by pressing your fingers up against it. There we go. Okay, and actually I probably need to straighten this out. That's why it's a little bit crazy here to work with. You want it pretty straight to act like a needle whenever you're stitching through some of that hollow mesh at the end there. I'm just gonna go a little bit below that bead so that I can lift it back up over the bead. There we go. Okay, looking for a nice secure hold there. And once you kind of have it in place, then you can just create your little wire wrap cone pretty easily. I can't wait, you guys, till daylight savings time is back. It's so hard to see in this lighting sometimes. And I think hopefully on camera it translates well, but sometimes it's not so easy on the back end here, trying to look at to see what I'm doing from where I'm sitting. There we go. So that is my wire wrapped component there. So now what we do is just have to create the top of the earring. So let me push these down just a little bit and pull my camera a little closer. Perfection. So we can now make our top part of our earring there, which this is really easy to do. Literally all I did was just take a piece of wire, and you want to make sure that this is as straight as it can be. So even though it looks pretty straight, I'm still going to run it through my nylon job pliers here a few times. There we go. And then what I do, or what I did rather, is that I just created a little L-shaped bend, a very 90-degree angle shaped bend in the wire, halfway into my wire. And at that point, I can kind of see like, okay, I need to squish it in just a little bit just to accommodate my bead. So I can just press on this, and that looks about right. And what I'm going to do is trim it off maybe about an inch from the end there. And that is where I can start to form my loops at that end. But what I'm going to do is try and be precise about this. So I'm going to line both of those cuts up and make sure that I have it at the same length. Can always do a little bit of trimming. That looks still a little uneven. It looks a little long on this end, so we'll trim that off. That looks pretty good. What I can do is continue to fold in my loop at the end and just trim and keep folding until it starts to match that other earring. Okay, so it's just a little bit off, so let me trim up this just a little bit and continue to roll. Perfect. So now I'll do the same thing to the other side. I think what I did was I trimmed off just a smidge. And I'm gonna go ahead and roll. Ooh, that was much easier than I was thinking. Usually my measurements are pretty off, you guys, but pretty happy with that. Cool, cool. Okay, so now's the tricky part. So I'm thinking I have just enough room here to try and fit that in. So we'll do that at the very end though. But right now what I want to do is go ahead and wire wrap my beads. Now remember, I said that these are very customizable. So you can really add in whatever beads you want. It doesn't have to be this exact size. It could be a different arrangement of beads because all we're doing is just wrapping one side to the other. You could even leave it blank and put no beads on there and it would still be a beautiful shape. And just, you know, let the pearls or miracle beads down there do all the work for you. Totally up to you. Okay, but I am going to wire wrap these beads. So let me see if I can pick up this component. Now, what I did to do this is I just have the rest of my 26 gauge wire. I'm going to wrap it around a few times. I think I did about 3 wraps and pull them close together. I'm using part of it to anchor my wrap there while I'm doing it. So I have a little bit sticking out, but I'll trim that off at the very end. Okay, and then I will string in my first bead here. You can choose whichever one. You could do, you know, the longer bead first and then work your way up to the smaller one, or you could go backwards. It really doesn't matter. But since my wraps are coming from the right side here, that's the side that I want to do my other wraps on. So I want to make sure that I'm wrapping on the right side of my component so that it matches the other side. And I will do 3 of them. So there's 1, there's number 2. Okay. And we can always use our pliers here in a second to make sure that our coils are nice and clean looking. So there we go. There's 3. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and cut off my extra little pieces of wire there. You could even do the 1 bead on there and I think it would still look stellar. Okay, same thing on this side. I'm going to trim that off, just like that. Okay, I've got a little piece there sticking out, but I think that requires me being like super close to this component with my eyes. So I'll spare that in this video for you guys. I can always go back and do that later. Okay, so same concept for the inner bead. We're going to wrap 3 times. So there's 1, there's 2. Or you know what, actually, I think I did. Looks like I did 2 wraps. So we'll just do 2 wraps. Keep it simple, right? Doesn't need to be over the top. So I'm gonna do 2 wraps. I'll come back in and I can, you know, fix the gap between my wraps there with my pliers here in a second, but for now I'm just going to string this bead on and then do 2 more wraps on the right side of that component to match what I did earlier. There's 1 and 2. So let me grab my pliers here. Brilliant. Okay, I just need to tighten this a little bit. There we go. Just remove some of that gap in that bead, and then can trim this off just like that and tuck in any raw ends there. And that pretty much completes, oh, you know what? I didn't see this on the top part, but let me go ahead and fix this. There we go. Now it's looking like a good component. It's a good looking component. So now what I can do is attach all this together. Now, this is probably the trickiest part, if I remember correctly, from doing it last time. Only because one side is easy, because you just slip it into your simple loop there. And this side, actually I think it was, never mind. I'm just making up stuff. I feel like I had trouble with it last time, but maybe I don't know if I did. Here, I think this needs to go on this side. Oop, need a little bit wider. There we go. Okay, and then that should just go in. Like that. And then I should be able to just put it right back. If I can keep it all together while this is happening. Well, maybe it was tricky. I feel like I did have trouble with it whenever I was making the demo, and I'm starting to remember why. There we go. I don't know. I think I was losing my mind back then. Anyways, it was a lot easier than what I thought it was going to be. So that's always the good news, right? So now you can kind of just fold and form your earring to make it match this other one. A little bit of my wire slipped down there, so I'm just going to put it back. And then basically just attach your earring wire on, and you've got your earring complete. So let's do this real quick. Yeah, Debbie says this part is always tricky. Sometimes attaching components is a little tricky, especially when you don't remember how you did it in the first place. I don't even remember why I was struggling with this one, but somewhere down the line I might have. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because look at this. We've got our earrings done, and they look beautiful, and they are very, very sparkly with these miracle beads. So I absolutely adore this little set. Vicky says, if you're losing your mind, it's a good thing that you have some wire. Oh, your comment went away. Good, have some wire handy. Oh, for sure. I agree, Vicky. If I needed to remake it, I could, but luckily it all worked out. Okay. Well, I'm going to turn this camera back around because that was spectacular and easy. And that's what jewelry making should be, right? Fun, fast, fabulous, easy. I don't know. All the good things. So that was my demo. Hopefully that gave you an insight on one way to use Holo mesh. There's going to be a ton more ways, I promise. In fact, next week, we're going to continue working with our wire wrapping technique that we learned here. And we're going to create this beautiful little bangle with red, because we're getting closer and closer to Valentine's Day. And I don't really follow trends as far as holidays and stuff go, but I know some of you do like to keep up with colors and specific holiday meanings and stuff. So in that honor, I'm going to go red for this next project, and I'm going to create this beautiful little bracelet with wire, and I'm going to show you how to make this clasp. I'm going to show you how to fill it. Have your chopsticks handy, you guys. Go get some Chinese takeout. Get yourself some chopsticks. Make sure it's round and not the square kind. The square kind will destroy the Holo mesh, and that's not what you want to happen. So once you've grabbed those things, then I think you're ready to Holo mesh with anything. So we're going to make this project next week, and I'm going to post a materials list here soon, probably tomorrow or the day after. Ooh, Deborah says the red is amazing. I know. This is that red pearlesque chain that I have. And I just haven't done or seen many red things, at least from Silver Silk, so it's my fault. But I'm going to try and create more colorful projects with... I've got a beautiful assortment of colors, you guys. I mean, pinks that I haven't done anything with, greens. There's just a lot. there's a lot, but I'm looking forward to using all the different colors in all the different applications. And I've got some projects with Tiara Cast components coming up. I've got quite a few things, in fact. So it'll be a really interesting and fun and exciting year of learning all the different projects. But part of that is keeping you guys informed of what to get. So I need to step up and do my part and make sure that you guys are getting all the information that you need. Lastly, if you guys don't already, please follow me on YouTube and Instagram. Those are the hot spots to find these tutorials and to find lots of inspiration and ideas, especially Instagram. I love Instagram because I can just post pictures. It's like eye candy. You just get wall-to-wall inspiration and, pictures on stuff that I've done tutorials for. If you love a photo, just hop over to my YouTube and you'll more than likely find a tutorial for that. So it's a really good way to encompass the full social media that Silver Silk is on. But otherwise, the other announcement. I was like, I'm missing a few things here. There's so many things that I like to announce. This Thursday, I'll be on the Jesse James Beads Facebook page. And the time for that will be 11 o'clock Central Time or 12 o'clock Eastern Time. And I'm going to be doing a project on there as well with some capture chains, in fact. And Sarah and I were talking about it today. And we're going to be using cones. We're going to be using some of their new bead mixes. We're going to be using some capture chain to coordinate. We're going to get into Mardi Gras maybe. So it'll be a fun tutorial, and I hope you guys put it on your calendar, and that'll be, again, this Thursday. That's coming up in a day and a half now at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. But otherwise, you can find me at the Great Bead Extravaganza on February 6th. I think we'll have a few Tuesday tutorials in between that time too. So I'm all over the place. It's going to be a fun year. That's all I got to say. All right, my friends, I am signing off. I didn't see any questions posted. Lots of comments. I saw Ginger was here. She says, yes, but what were you talking about, Ginger? Do I want to know? Oh, Joan says another beautiful project. Thank you, Jones. Hi, Leanne. I don't think I got to say hi to you earlier. Hi, Kathy Davison. Sue McDonald, lovely to see you, ladies. Trisha, lovely to see you too, my friend. Sherry, hi. I don't know if I said hello to you earlier. Holly, it's good to see you. I love seeing your names pop on week to week. It does give me pure joy, as well as you guys posting to the Silkies group. So keep it up. I'm always on there now, trying to keep up with stuff, keep up with you guys, and keep the kits coming. Sarah says, great project. Still love the scarf. I'm saying, my friend did a beautiful job knitting it for me. It's actually a cowl, so it's like a one piece, and I just like slide it over my head. Genius. Genius! And it's nice and thick too. So thank you, Teresa, for the yarn on this. All right, you guys, I am going to get back to my evening. I've got some orders to fill tonight and a workout to get to, actually. So keep it creative, and I will see you here on the Facebooks and Instagrams and YouTubes and emails and instant messenger. One way or another, you can catch me. All right, I love all of you. Have a great evening, and I will catch you next Tuesday, 5:30, same time, same place, same great designs. Well, with a little variation. All right, bye guys.